Yes, it's you probably are aware of this. I mean, but Latin American unity has been like a historical constant ever since its inception, ever since independence started. Actually, the first forefathers of independence actually never thought about 23 different countries. They just thought about a whole region. So that's like one of the historical forces that have been also ingrained in Latin American history ever since. Of course, the opposite of this, it's the obvious, more Pan-Americanist Monroe Doctrine kind of approach. And currently, Latin America, I think it's in a very bad place regarding that specific item, because you have, yes, you have a core of radical sovereignist and independent nations such as Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, the troika of tyranny, as Bolton addressed it once back then. And then you also have Mexico, which is pretty close, and they also have their own foreign policy doctrine, the Estrada doctrine, which basically says we oppose any kind of foreign meddling in any of the sovereign countries of our hemisphere, and Mexico won't engage in any of these adventures. And yes, also Brazil has a very cautious stand regarding all of this. And maybe we don't have like the best relationships right now, but not the worst either. And they would be quite. I haven't heard anything coming from Lula or from Itamaraty, the foreign ministry. But it must be at some point they should and they will say something. And I don't think it's going to be ambiguous about it. But that's the case of Brazil, of course, which of course you would see the same threat onto them. And same with Colombia right now. And you also have the fact that, for example, Colombia has 7 official U.S. military bases, 2 that are unofficials. Peru has several military and naval bases. So does Chile. So in a way, they're already there. They don't need to invade properly. And as like Chalmers Johnson used to say, the previous imperialism was, the previous imperial unit was the colony regarding the European imperialism. But in the case of the U.S., the imperial unit would be the military base. So they're already here. Also the Caribbean, we have Curacao, and I mean, less than 100 miles from our coast, which is a Dutch colony. So it's NATO terrain also, Article 5 terrain, if you ask me. And what many of these ships are also stopping there, by the way. And then you have an even more dramatic thing. Think about Millet, for example.